Welcome to Purpose. I'm your host, Corie Clark. I'm just a normal girl who decided to go for it. I created a thriving business from the ground up without sacrificing my sanity, and I believe that you can do the same. You were created on purpose, for a purpose, and I fully believe you can turn that purpose into profit. Each week, I'm going to bring you practical advice to help you live your life and grow your business on purpose. Hey there, welcome to another episode of Purpose. I am your host, Corie Clark, and before we jump into today's episode, I just want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your reviews. They mean the world to me. I'm really honestly enjoying this, and I was very nervous last week to launch the podcast, and it's just been better than I could have ever imagined because number one, I love doing this. I love serving you and sharing things with you that will help inspire you to change your life, to live more purposefully, to start the business you've been wanting to start, or to grow the business you already have. And so since I can do that through this podcast, that is just, it brings me the greatest joy. But the second reason it's been amazing is I've just loved getting to know some of you who have reached out to me and shared what you love about it, what your favorite episodes are. And it's just been such a joy to see that there are people who are receiving this and enjoying it and learning from it. So I'm just really excited about this journey, and thank you so much for listening. If you haven't yet, I would love for you to leave a review on iTunes. And I would love for you to screenshot this episode and share it on Instagram and tag me and let me know what you're doing and let me know what you got from the episode. So without further ado, this episode is pretty much based on one truth that I learned from one of my business mentors, and I'm sure, I've heard a million people say this, so I'm not sure who said it first, but the first person I heard say this, and I started applying it to my life and realizing, yes, this is true, was James Wedmore, and he always says, action brings clarity. Now, I actually learned this long before I even knew who he was, because this is exactly how I built a multiple six-figure business from the ground up. I didn't go to school for marketing or business or anything like that. But, actually, funny enough, I did go to business college I don't know if I went for a semester or a year. I cannot remember. But I went to business college because I thought I wanted to be a business person. I don't know. I've always loved business and entrepreneurship, but back in the day, that was 1995, and I just thought you had to go to business college. And so I did, and I honestly didn't really like it at all. And I got engaged and, wanted to be saving money, and going to business college wasn't making me any money, and I really didn't want to go work in an office for the rest of my life. So anyways, I left that and went and worked for my parents. And the rest is history. But anyways, I built this business from taking action, and taking that action brought the clarity for the next step. So when people ask me how I started my business, it's hard for me to answer because there are lots of steps and there's tools and there's things that you need to learn, none of those matter if you're not willing to take action or to take that first step. And when you take that first step, it truly does bring clarity for what the next step needs to be. So let's go back to 2013. And that's when I first started my blog. And I actually had a different blog before that, and it failed miserably, but it taught me a ton. So we'll talk about failures in another episode because I look at failures very differently. I look at them as a lesson. Anyways, in 2013, I started my blog under my own name, CorieClark.com, and I started it as a way to express my dreams and to inspire other people. But I honestly had no clue what my business would look like, or even if the blog would turn into a business or into a book. I mean, I honestly had no clue what the big picture was. And so I had hopes and dreams of there being a business, but I had no plan or idea of what it was going to look like. But starting that blog led me to the next step and to the next and to the next. So one of the things that happened after I started that blog was I found this online community, and the community inspired me and pushed me and really helped me to continue after my dreams. And then that's when I realized that our life was just in utter chaos. And so there I sat with my dream in my heart, but I was just completely overwhelmed with life. And so the next step, action again, brought clarity. The next clear step for me was to simplify our lives. It wasn't to try and figure out what the business was going to look like, because I knew like I wasn't going to be able to handle it. So the next step was to simplify our lives. And then after that, I wrote the Simplicity Project. And it was going to be an ebook, and I truly did not know what I was doing on the tech side. All I knew was, okay, I just got to write this. And then I ended up self-publishing it. And, but taking that action and writing that book gave me the clarity to then actually self-publish, So before I wrote it, I didn't know how I was going to get it out into the world. After I wrote it, I knew because I took that action. And so I still had no clue like what this was going to look like. At this point, launching that book, self-publishing that book was like huge. And it was a huge leap of faith. It took a ton of courage. I had to get over my fears, and I did it, but I didn't know what was going to happen afterwards. And as people started reading the book, they started asking me to create a planner that implemented what I taught in the book. And so once again, the next step was to take action. And I decided to go for it. So, why the heck not, right? I had just written a book, so I might as well go for it. I did not know a thing about product development, about design, manufacturing, printing. I knew nothing, but I just kept taking the next step and the next and the next. And then in December of 2014, the first version of the Purposeful Planner was released to the world. And I still didn't know, you guys, like it's crazy looking back. If I had sat around like trying to decide like, I don't know, is this the right thing? Should I make a planner? Is it going to be profitable? Is it going to be scalable? How do I market it? If I sat there wondering all those things and stewing over, trying to find the answers, I would have never created it, but since I did, and I just kept taking the next step and figuring things out as I went along, it sold out in like a month. And ultimately, as I was going into it, I knew it was a test. I knew it was a trial run. And if it didn't work, no big deal. I'll move on to the next thing. I was just hopeful, like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to put it out there. I'm taking this action, and that will bring the clarity I need. Either it will sell, and that will give us clarity to move forward in this business, or it won't. And then I'll just keep moving forward, inspiring my audience the way I already was. So it's not, like a matter of failure. While yes, the planner could have failed, it's just a matter of getting that clarity of what I'm going to do next in this path I'm on, like pursuing my dreams, pursuing this business, helping the people around me. So it worked, and honestly, that's exactly what I've continued to do for the last 5 years. When I think of an idea or something I want to try, I take action. And after I take action, it gives me clarity to move forward with what I've learned. And maybe it fails and I move on to the next thing. Or maybe it succeeds and then we're like, awesome, okay, how can we make this better? How can we tweak this and add this, add more value to our audience? How can we add more value to what we're doing? Like looking back at the planner, the first planner I made is totally different than the planner I have now. It still is like, has the same concept, it has the same layout, but we've just changed things. The quality's gotten better, and it's packaged differently. So those are things I would have never learned had I not taken that action. So I could sit here and I could give you guys like a step-by-step exact guide on how to start a business. And I'm actually going to get into some of those details in next week's episode. But if I give you all the steps and you listen to them and you know them by heart, you still will not know how to implement them, or you won't even know if they'll work for you unless you start taking action on them. So as we wind things up on this episode, I just want to challenge you guys. I want to ask you something. What have you been putting off because you're just not sure about how it's going to turn out, or you're not sure how to do it? Like, what have you been putting off? Have you been putting off? I mean, it could even be a relationship or a conversation you need to have, and you're putting it off because you've made up in your mind how you think it's going to turn out. You're not going to know how it's going to turn out until you take action on it. Is there a new product that you want to put out into the world, but you're just not sure? You're not going to know until you take action. And so sitting back and wondering your life away is never going to do you any good. It's not going to do the world around you any good. And so I just want you to think about that. I want you to think about something that you've been putting off and ask yourself, like, worst case scenario, what's going to happen if you take action on it? Like, if you fail, okay, oh well, like, you're not going to die, but you'll have clarity. You'll have clarity on, okay, yeah, that didn't work, but actually I learned it might work a different way. Or actually I learned that I'm actually more passionate about something else. That's another thing that I've learned is as I've taken action, and we've kind of changed the business over the last year and we've pivoted, I was headed in the direction of a stationery company because the planner kept doing so well. But that's not what I was passionate about. I didn't want a stationery company. My business, my passion, what I'm here for you guys is to inspire people, to help them find their purpose, to equip them to live out that purpose, and to help them turn that purpose into a profitable business. And so the planner is one of those tools, for sure. But I'm not going to keep creating stationery products for the sake of releasing new products. But I've only figured that out because I was on that path. I started doing those things, and I could easily grow a stationery business and it could be successful. But the clarity I got from taking that action was that's not what I want. I do love creating products, and I will create more products, and we have new products that are going to be releasing this year, but they fall under the umbrella of helping people live their purpose. So anyway, sorry for the tangent, but taking action is going to bring you clarity. It's going to bring you clarity on who you are, on what you're passionate about, on what's working, on what's not. So if you're trying to grow your business and you're thinking maybe you should head in a certain direction, or you think maybe you should try a new marketing campaign and you're holding out on it, you just have to put it out there. You will not know if it works or not until you put it out there. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys today. Next week, I am going to be sharing the steps in creating a business, and they really can be applied to any business. But I wanted you guys to hear this first because I wanted you to know that no matter what I teach you in all of the upcoming episodes, it's completely up to you to take the action and implement what I'm teaching, or to say, no, I don't want to do that. And, take what you want, leave the rest. I don't care. But you will only get your own clarity by taking action yourself. So if you're ready to take action, go to corieclark.com/5. That's the number 5. And there you'll find the show notes for this episode. I've got some free resources for you to help you out and a link to the free community. And I would just love to help you on this journey. So thanks so much for listening. And I will see you next week where I will be sharing some more practical tips on how to start an online business.